As a photographer who loves to travel and being mobile, well, we all appreciate small lenses, right? And today we are looking at one of them. And this is Viltrox's latest 56mm f1.7 for APS-C cameras. Hi, it's Cheng here from RED35 and welcome back once again to my channel. Today we are looking at Viltrox's latest 56mm f1.7 for APS-C cameras. Currently they are making it for both the Sony E mount as well as the Nikon Z mount. As you're probably aware, both of these cameras you can adapt the full frame lenses onto APS-C and vice versa. You just have to work out the crop ratio or the effective focal length. Well, as you can see, next to me here I have three boxes. They look identical because Viltrox calls this the Air series, which means, well, lightweight and compact. Lightweight and compact it is because, yes, if you look at it, this is pretty small for what it is. Of course, you can't really compare to Micro Four Third, for instance, but if you compare to the Pro series, which I have one right here, this is their 27mm f1.2. I totally adore this lens, but if you look at the side-by-side comparison, it's literally double the size and also 3 times the weight because this guy here is made with full metal, which comes to the build quality. So the 5617 is fully plastic, just like their previous two brothers. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, I can live with a plastic construction as long as it's really lightweight, which it is. Thank God for that. And in terms of image quality, which is going to come to that later, is also very respectable. But let's have a look at the overall construction. I would say it is very well put together. There's no squeaks or rattle anywhere. The focusing ring can be a little bit smoother to my taste. You know, I much prefer a smoother feel when I do manual focus override, for instance, and it just generally feels a little bit maybe on the cheap side. However, in terms of the actual finishing and things like that, I think it's very, very good. I mean, I can't really fault it apart from maybe the text are all printed, not engraved. And also, one more critique is that there is no weather seal. But then again, you're looking at very, very affordable price range here. So I don't really expect anything else anyway. So overall, it's very respectable. In terms of handling, well, let me mount it on my ZFC just to show you the size. I think it fits it perfectly well, and you can see that it's really have that perfect look to it. It's not too big, it's not too small, it's just the right size. It just reminds me of the good old the film SLR, that those lenses and prime lenses, and this really have that form factor, which I totally like. And coupled with the equally lightweight Nikon ZFC, and I do think it balances quite well, and I can shoot this all day long without a problem at all. That basically says something of the other two lenses I just mentioned earlier. So handling, yeah, pretty good. So now it's the important question. Image quality. Right, I have spent the last 3 weeks shooting this lens extensively for all my portrait shoots as well as some general street photography that I'm roaming around London, and I actually really enjoy using it. The image quality is pretty solid. If you don't believe me, have a look at my sample images. See what I mean? It's pretty nice, right? It's bokeh-licious too, which I'm going to come to that in just a moment. But instead of showing you my usual brick wall test for lens reviews, I just really want to showcase what the lens can do in real life situations rather than just, looking at the brick wall. So in terms of sharpness, and I think that this guy performs really well. Just like most of the Viltrox lenses I've seen so far, whether it's going to be the consumer lenses or the pro lenses, I think shooting wide open 1.7 is totally and utterly usable. I can't fault it really. And in terms of sharpness, like edge to edge, you know, yes, you do have to stop down because at the end of the day, this is a wide aperture prime. So when you are shooting wide open 1.7, you do see some softness and darkening in the corners and things like that. So yeah, just be mindful of that. But as a portrait lens, this is a 56, by the way, you know, on the APS-C format, it's roughly, you know, the portrait kind of lens range, you know, 85 to 90 range. So you don't have to really too concerned about, you know, edge performances, depending on what sort of thing you'll be photographing, of course. But for my portrait purposes, yeah, edge sharpness isn't really the big deal anyway. So for me, it's a pretty good and decent portrait lens. Bokeh and rendering is really interesting as well. Just like a typical Viltrox fashion, you know, it's kind of blending between modern and vintage, which is, I kind of dig that look, to be quite honest. It does remind me a little bit about the Micro Four Thirds, especially the Olympus Pro lenses when they have that feather bokeh. So the bokeh isn't as soft as the feather bokeh from Olympus, but it has that kind of old school rendering, which I really, really enjoy, especially if you tone or color grade your images to look like film, for instance. It really gives you that feel. It's more like, almost like emphasizing it a little bit more, just make it more punchy like that, which I find it quite interesting. And the bokeh quality, I think, is pretty decent. You know, I wouldn't say silky smooth, but it's soft enough for you to say that it's a great portrait lens. And it's, of course, you know, being a budget lens like this, and I think that it will benefit a lot of the beginner portrait photographer, for instance. And yeah, it just can't get better than this, especially considering the price of it. Yeah, overall, I think the bokeh and rendering are, you know, as good as it can get for the price. Perhaps Viltrox has really focusing on making this lens as great as it is for portrait photographers. It kind of forgotten about landscape photography, for instance, because the Sunstar is really horrible with this lens. If you stop down to like f8, f11, f16, you know, like I can't get any decent Sunstar shapes, you know, out of this guy here. It just not, yeah, I wouldn't say it's good. So you can forget about that. If you're really looking for like really beautiful Sunstar coming out from any light sources that you do, like nighttime cityscape, for instance, yeah, I don't think you're going to achieve anything with this particular guy here. So it's not for landscape guy, not for cityscape guy, but, you know, for portrait, yeah, definitely okay. Fringing, finally, I'll just talk a little bit about fringing. I think it's also very well controlled for what it is as well. There is a little bit of purple fringings in extreme high contrast situations, but overall, I think Viltrox has done a great job by correcting it optically. So yeah, well done for that. And finally, what about, yeah, using for videos? Well, I have to say it's pretty impressive too, because it does use STM motors, so it's quite silent and quite smooth when it comes to, like, you know, moving in and out. I do like that. Breathing is a little bit there, but, you know, I wouldn't concern too much, because I actually very doubtful people are going to use this lens for filming, for instance. But, you know, if you want to ask me about, you know, all the lenses these days, because they kind of have that video capabilities that I think majority of the modern videographer would appreciate, and this one certainly had that character there. But, you know, I just think that if you're really looking for something like this for video, there are other options out there. But overall, yeah, you know, if you really want to use this, this is the only lens that you have for this particular focal length on your APS-C cameras. If you want to do videos, yeah, you can do it. I don't think it would disappoint you in that way. So this is my quick review or overview of the Viltrox latest 56mm f1.7. Am I impressed? Yes, I am. Am I going to recommend you over this lens? If you have an APS-C, Sony E-mount cameras or Nikon Z cameras, yes, I would think so, even if you already have pro lenses like these, because like I mentioned in one of my recent videos about f4, f2.8, basically what I'm suggesting is that for those who like to travel and move a lot, you will want to have a lightweight system, and so that will enable you to walk a little bit further, you know, just do photography for a bit longer without feeling tired, for instance. And you want to keep everything nice and small, so you can keep everything in a small bag as well. So these sort of lenses would definitely benefit you in that way. You know, if I'm going to take, you know, let's say an APS-C cameras for my travel, I think this lens will be in my bag, you know, instead of having a pro lens, just because it's so much smaller and so much lighter. And I do like the form factor. You know, when you're carrying it around, it doesn't really shout and scream about, you know, everything that you have. You have an expensive system kind of thing. You know, this is, you know, very subtle, very discreet. And even if you photograph, let's say, street portrait on the street, I don't think people are going to pay too much attention to that either. So yes, I think it is a worthwhile purchase, really, and especially for the price, you can easily add that to your system instead of, you know, replacing anything. You just add it on. So That's it, folks, and let me know in the comment section what you think about the Viltrox 1.7 56mm. What do you think about it after seeing all my sample images? Do you like to use these sort of lenses? What do you think about Viltrox in general? Because I think they are really pushing really hard in both the APS-C and the full frame era. So this is very interesting, certainly, but as usual, I just want to make a final note is that I would like to see some Micro Four Thirds autofocus lenses from you guys, because a new camera is coming, which I'm filming on right now. So you have to stay tuned for my review. Yeah, because it's exciting as well. And I'm pretty sure that plenty appetite in the Micro Four Thirds community. Any of one of you who are watching this channel right now probably has some Micro Four Thirds camera system as well. So we are looking for some brand new AF Micro Four Thirds lenses. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and you know what to do now. Thumb if you like this video, and sub if you want to stay in touch with all things photography and filmmaking. Until next time, I'll see you all very soon. Peace. Welcome to the bonus section. As you can see that I'm using my ZF-C for the past couple of weeks. Not only I want to rotate my cameras every so often so I can keep track of all the latest features and things that are on the camera every time when they have further update, for instance, but also so I can give you a long-term reviews whenever it comes. But of course, I want to test out the latest Viltrox 56mm f1.7, which proven to be a very decent portrait lens. You know, as you know that I shoot portraits a lot, so this is actually pretty good. Together, I've been using the Viltrox 2712 Pro, which proven to be a beast. I really like this lens here, but it is a little bit on the big and heavy side, to be quite honest. Look at the size of this guy here. And also I've been using Sony's 16mm 1.2 as well, which is also another sharp lens that I really enjoy using. So together these three lenses kind of form the ultra wide, the slightly wide to a portrait. So this give me everything I need for my shoot. So these three lenses has been like this, so you can see how small it is. So I can fit into my small camera bag there, so without having to lug around too much weight, for instance. I do have a zoom lens as well, which is the 70 to 180 2.8 from Nikon. That's more like for candy. If I want to punch in, do a little bit longer shots, I will carry that as well. So yes, 4 lenses system is basically cover everything I would need for my portrait shoot. So yeah, it is interesting, and I really hope to see more Viltrox lenses in the future. As mentioned, I really want to see someone making more Micro Four Thirds lenses as well. And yeah, it's something that I want Viltrox to maybe have a consider. You know, making other format as well. I know you're doing a lot of APS-C. I know you're starting to do a lot of full frame stuff. Yeah, but don't forget about Micro Four Thirds. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. And yeah, like I said, I'm filming on a brand new Micro Four Thirds autofocus lens on my GX7 at the moment, and I'm super excited. So stay tuned for my next video about this particular lens, because yeah, it is that good. Until next time, keep shooting, behave, be well. Right, until next time, I'll speak to you all very soon. Bye for now. Peace.